Good morning, welcome to a morning review. This is Kim Watson speaking for Ezeetrader. Okay, looking at the euro dollar first, and as you can see, yesterday we did eventually break those prior lows from the 27th of May. It's now really, for me, it's opened the potential for continuation in this move. It's already created effectively a swing short from my earlier analysis. Now we could be, I'm just looking at what we got here. I mean, to me, the short side just looks the best. When you're looking at what's going on here, there's a potential for us to come down towards the S1. The one thing I'm noticing is the range all of a sudden is starting to reduce. Actually, we come back to, it's not a bad thing to be looking at here. You're looking at this sort of 60-minute chart, and you're looking at the ranges, the average true range is how it started to slide its way down and make a lower low sort of thing. So it's just more and more consolidation. And if you actually put it onto a daily, you see the average true range has now dropped from close on to 140, as high as 150 pips over the last few months, and maybe even more at times, certainly more at times, as much as 175 pips at times. It's dropped down to about 120, and this is likely to continue for a while, I would imagine, as we get into the summer. It's really quite common to be in relatively tighter ranges. Now at the moment I'm looking at this, and really just if we start breaking down, we could well be onto that S1, maybe the S2. Right, as I say, ranges are tight at the moment, so there is a possibility. If you look at where we are today so far, well, 35 pips, 57 pips, well, maybe we'll get down to the S2. I mean, the pivots themselves are so pinched there, so we could sell off some more there if it does start breaking down. Likewise, pushing up, well, yes, if it does manage to push up, break through that 50 MA, which seems to have been holding it for some time now, if it does push up beyond that, well, there's an easy chance for it to run up towards the 100. Still got the weekly pivot untouched, so any sort of change of direction here, I would be looking at some point for that to be hit. Okay, let's have a look at the pound dollar. And the pound was looking at this yesterday, analysing it. It is starting to look erring on the weaker side. We've put these bars in. I said yesterday the two dojis on the Wednesday and the Friday. Yesterday we've sold off, broke the lows again, and just pushing in lower lows at the moment. And it's a little bit clearer to see when you're looking on the 4-hourly here, in terms of you've got the lower highs, and in fact that was slightly lower, and lower lows. So there is a possibility. We're just hand railing this out 4-hourly 50. If we break that, well, we're on for probably a bigger move to the downside potentially. Come to the 60-minute, and at the moment, well, we're edging back towards its into the upper side at the moment. I should watch this carefully, but any sort of breakdown, I'd be looking for that 200 and maybe the S1 there. Okay, any upside? Well, yesterday's highs back into the monthly pivot. It seems to be hugging that backwards and forwards, and it may be just it ends up hanging into it for most of the rest of the month. Right, okay, let's look at the dollar yen. Dollar yen, still weakness there, and just pushing up. At the moment, trend obviously solidly up, but if you notice that the range of the bars are getting smaller on the dailies. Has got an untouched weekly pivot below. There's maybe we see some, as I say, I think really if we see across the board with the euro starting to gain a bit of strength, maybe the yen may come down as well. Didn't even catch its daily pivot yesterday, and the way it's going at the moment, it's just drifting up. At any sort of breakdown, I've got a trend line across from yesterday. Well, maybe the same trend line, or maybe the sort of line in the sand. And if it starts breaking down, well, an untouched weekly pivot, but starting to become a bigger ask at the moment. Finally, the Aussie dollar. Aussies continue to make newer lows. Yesterday made the new low Today, well, it's selling off already. There's little really to be said about this. It's pretty close to its S1. Range-wise, it's starting to get a little bit tighter as well. Like everything else, the average true ranges are dropping down. Any break of this current trend, well, may see us coming back down to the monthly S3 pivot. So it's really quite extended. But last month we look at the pivots, or look at the range, and it was very, very tight for most of the month. So the pivots have quite pinched. So probably logically there's a chance of it pushing on beyond. Still, I did put a some fib analysis on here, just measuring the ranges here from the previous wave. Let me just put it on so it's clearer. So this wave here, I just applied that to the top of this wave here. Not quite done a one-to-one yet, so it could even come down further here. So it's consolidated gain in this patch here, much the same as it did there, but on a smaller scale. But it could just be pushing, and at the moment it looks like it could still drift down further. Right, so looking today, as I said, any sort of sell-off easily makes yesterday's lows there as a potential, and then maybe that S3 level and beyond. Okay, that's it for me. In terms of news-wise today, there isn't a significant amount. We've already had the monetary policy minutes coming out in the US, in Australia at 2:30, and there's very little out today. Very, very little. Public spending, public sector net borrowing in the UK at 9:30, and which is a very low rate number, and that's it. Okay, hope you have a great day. Bye for now.